The biggest tire sale of the year could only happen at Big O Tires, but you've only got 2 weeks to get 2 free tires. That's right, 2 free tires when you buy 2 now at Big O Tires through September 9th. Just buy 2 select tires and you'll receive 2 free with the purchase of a 1-year alignment and tire protection package. That's half off your tires at Big O Tires. It's the biggest tire sale of the year through September 9th only. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free. Now at Big O Tires. Big on service, guaranteed low prices. For the location nearest you, go to bigotires.com.
SportsBeat KC is Facebook Live today, Thursday, September 5th. Chiefs beat writer Brooke Pryor, columnist Vahe Gregorian, and me, Blair Kirchhoff, set up shop at Big O Tires on West 119th Street in Overland Park. Between tire rotations, we broke down the Chiefs opener this weekend in Jacksonville, and toward the end, you'll hear our picks for where rubber meets the road, our choices for Chiefs standout players this weekend. Thanks to Kathy Liu and Leah Becerra for producing today's show, and Beth Welsh for shooting the Facebook Live. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, help us out by rating and reviewing SportsBeat KC. We'd love to hear from you, and your review could help us reach more listeners. And that's what we want, more listeners. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the conversation. We'll be back with another SportsBeat KC on Friday.
Hey guys, we're live from Big O Tires in Overland Park. Had to remember where we were this morning. Again, I'm Chiefs beat writer Brooke Pryor. I've got Blair Kirchhoff to this side, Vahe Gregorian on this side. Sam Mellinger had some stuff to deal with this morning, so he is not here, but we are, and we are so excited because real live football is going to be on our TV tonight, but more importantly, real live football is going to be in front of us on Sunday. The Chiefs play Jacksonville, noon kickoff here. Well, it's in Jacksonville. You can view it at noon in Kansas City. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern time. How about you guys? I'm pumped to see what Andy Reid can do, given that he's been kind of holding in all these offensive plays. We've seen some flashes of things, but it's been pretty vanilla for the most part, and he likes it that way. Vahe, what are you most excited to see on Sunday?
The very thing you're talking about in a lot of ways, especially because Andy went ahead and said, I think he felt called out a little bit by this idea that Chase Litton could betray the game plan. And Andy, I wouldn't call it bragging, but Andy was kind of enjoying saying, well, we got 300 plays.
And if he can pick one, if he can get him out of that.
And, really, when you think about the 300 plays, obviously so many of them have complete variations within it. So they probably got an arsenal of 2,000 options. And I think Patrick referred to the million note cards Andy has. Mm-hmm. You've written about Pat plays. So I'm excited to see that. There's always some innovative thing in the first game. Last year we saw all the wheeling and dealing down by the end zone, right? All the pop.
In the opener, right.
In the opener. And then, of course, I think the most intriguing thing we're going to see, the thing that's probably still the greatest mystery to us, is what's the deal with the defense? What do they have?
Right.
2 plays they've been together this preseason. Starting defense.
As a starting defense.
Yep.
So that's the thing I'm most curious about.
Yeah, I did a radio interview yesterday with some folks in Jacksonville, and they said, well, is the defense going to be any better? And I was like, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, we've seen it in practice, so yeah, on paper it should be better, but we've seen 2 plays. And there wasn't a lot to glean from those couple plays. Blair, what are you most excited to see Sunday?
Well, the defense, which you were asked about being better by folks in Jacksonville, held the Jaguars to 14 points last year, and it was 20-0 at halftime at the game in Kansas City. I remember it was a poor conditioned day, it was a rainy day, kind of a sloppy track at Arrowhead when they played the Jaguars last year. But I agree, the defense. Offense is fun. We love to watch Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Watkins and the slew of running backs now. But I'm most curious about the defense for the reason that you and Vahe stated, Brooke, that we've only seen them together for a couple of plays. I want to see Tyrann Mathieu on the field, and I want to see the communication that is so important to the defense that they haven't had an opportunity outside of practice to work on with talking to the linebackers, talking to the other members of the secondary. So if the Chiefs are going to take that step from AFC Championship game loser to winner and play in the Super Bowl, it's going to be because the defense has improved this year, and we get our first indication of that on Sunday.
It's funny because I'm sick of the preseason, as we all are, especially you guys having been in Green Bay while I was at the Jersey Shore.
Oh, please keep rubbing it in. Is that
Yes.
why? That's why Vahe looks so
I
tan.
just
So
want to own
let's
it.
just.
I just want to own it.
That's good.
Yeah, where were you again while we were in Green Bay?
Ocean City, the OC, and Jay.
Well, we were at a bay, so
You
there
were at a
was
bay,
there
yeah.
was some water there.
But look, if there was anything you felt like can be achieved in the preseason, it would be that point you made, Blair, about wanting to have some sense of the communication. That stuff's got to happen in real time. I mean, that's not stuff you can just work on the practice field. How many times do we see a defense get burned and later hear the term miscommunication and see it actually often too? So that's the asterisk, I guess, for me in not expecting too much probably right away, but I think it'd be fun to see the new talent they have.
Well, and they're going to be tested. It's an interesting opening opponent. First, it's on the road, which it was last year with the Chargers, and we thought the Chargers were going to be good last year. They turned out to be a playoff team, which was, and came back and beat the Chiefs won that game, and Chargers came back and beat them in Arrowhead. But the Jaguars are expected to be better than the 5-11 team that they were a year ago. In fact, it was the Chiefs game at Arrowhead that I think changed the Jaguars season. They came into that game 3-1, and the Chiefs kind of knocked them out. And that started a 7-game losing streak for the Jaguars and changed the season and changed the direction of their offense. They decided Blake Bortles wasn't their guy, and Nick Foles now is. A more confident, capable quarterback in Nick Foles. Leonard Fournette, who didn't play against the Chiefs last year, is ready to go, and such a hard-charging, hard-running back. They've got some speed at wide receiver. I think this defense is going to get challenged in this first game. And, we've been keeping our eye on the weather all week in Jacksonville. Dorian is past Florida. It's not going to be a factor.
Right.
But what is going to be a factor is it's supposed to be in the mid-90s there on Sunday. And I think it could end up being one of the hottest games that the Chiefs have ever played. And we'll see if they're conditioned to play a game like that.
Tony Dungy, I think, was one that brought that up, and then I believe it was Jack Del Rio, echoed him on Twitter a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, about the Chiefs, needing to be prepared for the heat and humidity of Jacksonville. I mean, it's not cool in St. Joe. It's hot and it's humid, and I can confirm because my hair didn't stay straight for a month. It is a different kind of heat and humidity in Jacksonville, but I think that they're going to be somewhat prepared given some of the training camp conditions that they've gone through and the last couple weeks practicing here in Kansas City.
Well, it's funny because I think about acclimation, if that's the right word. I mean, I don't know what's going to be. We're kind of beyond that point now because the practices aren't going to be that intense at this stage, but the last week or 8-9 days, it's been mostly low 80s, high 70s, right? I mean, so I don't know if the body, if the month of time in St. Joe is something that sticks with you, or it's what you're dealing with at this point. I mean, I guess we'll see. It might be a little bit of a battle of attrition down there, though.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke, you'll remember this. The day in St. Joe that probably was the hottest day of training camp was an occasion for Andy Reid to keep his starting offense on the field for about 20 consecutive plays. Was it 19 plays? And just kept running and running. And I remember thinking at the time, what is he doing? And he explained afterwards. He took advantage of the weather, just like he does when it rains up there. He doesn't always send the guys up to the indoor facility.
Unless there's lightning.
Then he doesn't have a choice.
Safety.
But he'll have him practice in the rain just for that reason. And he did it in the heat this year. And I don't remember him doing that in the past. But I think he did it with the idea that Jacksonville was the opening opponent in Florida.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about defense a second ago. I want to go back to that because the depth. I can't talk this morning. I need some of that coffee that you have. The depth chart came out earlier this week, the unofficial depth chart. To me, the biggest surprise was that Tremont Smith, no longer listed as a wide receiver, listed back at cornerback. Little bit surprising. Didn't expect to see that. But that's because they don't have any cornerback depth. I mean, Rashad Fenton is listed as backup for all three corner positions.
Right.
How concerning is that? We talk about, hey, it's a problem that the Chiefs' starting defense hasn't played together more than 2 snaps. How concerning is it that, we thought maybe that they make a pickup over the weekend and grab, a corner, whether free agent, waiver wire, whatever, make a trade. Said they get LaShawn McCoy, great addition. But they still haven't addressed the cornerback spot. Vahe, are you worried about that, or should the Chiefs be worried about that?
I think that at the beginning of the camp was the biggest, concern, and probably still remains that. I mean, I don't feel like you see anything that says, oh, they're covered. And maybe I'm wrong about this, but I mean, I think they can fool around with some different schemes to hide it if it comes down to that, different personnel groupings, et cetera. But that's a gap, or at least a gap in waiting.
It's their biggest weakness. If it's 4 days before the game, and you're looking at strengths and weaknesses for the Chiefs, it's their biggest weakness, that position group. You're right, with Rashad Fenton listed as their backup at all three, he's a 6th-round draft pick rookie, right?
Who didn't flash in the preseason.
No, he did. It seems like he had a nice play, and I can't remember if it was at Green Bay or the 49ers game. He had one nice play, and I remember thinking, well, it's good to see him have a nice play, but it's, he's on there with all the reserves. He's having a nice day with the reserves. I have no idea. He's going to play. I mean, Andy Reid made it a point, or maybe it was Steve Spagnuolo last week, but the point was made that the safeties end up being their backup cornerbacks for all intents and purposes. They've all had experience at that position. Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, and Jordan Lucas. Mm-hmm. So they have that ability to move some guys into corner positions. But look, if Kendall Fuller goes down, if Rashard Breeland goes down, Ward goes down, that highlights a weakness, amplifies the weakness.
It does.
I think so too. I'm looking to see if we have any questions here. So far, no questions, but Jeremy notes that he thinks Kansas City is going to win 42-21. I think we'll get to predictions later on.
Yeah,
but
let's do that. But that's very optimistic.
That is optimistic, especially given what we were just talking about with the defense. I think that Jacksonville will have a potential to score more than 21 points.
Well, and look, devil's advocate on this too. Of course, we're all excited to see what Andy uncorks for Patrick, and who knows what kind of pass patterns that have never been run before or run and things like that. But it's also true that this is the team that had the first 2 interceptions of the season last year against Patrick. He had his lowest quarterback rating of the season against them.
He didn't throw a touchdown pass.
The only game he didn't throw a touchdown pass. So, I mean, they still scored 30 points, and that's probably the ultimate stat. But it does tell you they've had some notion of how to contain Patrick.
Well, it's a good defensive team. Mm-hmm. Even in their 5-11 season, their defense was still good. I think things just kind of spiraled out of control for them, but that's what Jacksonville has been for the last few years. It's just a terrific defensive team, and that's going to be their calling card this year. Just like the Chiefs think that they have addressed their weakness, the side of the ball that needed to be addressed on the defense. Jacksonville did that with their offense, bringing in Nick Foles, and think that they, having an improved offense can get them kind of back into the playoff picture. The Chiefs are, I think, a little more advanced. They're thinking their changes will get them into the Super Bowl. I don't think this is a Jacksonville team that is a Super Bowl contender. But in that division now, in an Andrew Luck-less division, in a Jadeveon Clowney-less division, I think Jacksonville is as good as any candidate to go 9-7 or 10-6 and win that division.
Exactly. Well, and we saw last week, I think, is when the Jalen Ramsey trash talk started, which is always fun for everyone, except maybe Andy Reid trying to calm his locker room down and make sure that nobody says anything stupid. But Jalen Ramsey said he's going to shadow Tyreek Hill in this game. It's what he did last year. Tyreek Hill didn't have a touchdown catch, obviously, since Patrick Mahomes didn't throw a touchdown pass, with standard reason. There was one play that he burned Jalen Ramsey for, I think, a 36-yard gain. Other than that, though, I seem to recall Jalen Ramsey containing him somewhat more than other corners had been able to. Is that a matchup that you're excited to watch, Vahe?
Sure. And, what's kind of funny, by the way, yesterday was Travis Kelce speaking with the media and kind of getting, people throwing little smoke bombs trying to get him to talk about the game plan. And I have no idea if he took a diversionary course or if he spoke more than he meant to, but he was sort of saying, I guess he indicated he thought the game plan would call for a lot of diversity, which is, I guess what you would say.
Everyone will have an opportunity to catch a pass.
I guess there was something else he said that seemed to be a hint, and then he kind of backed off. But I don't know that he probably was giving away the store. But look, that's a great matchup to watch, of course.
It is. I remember Kelsey saying that. And I also remember him referring to his brother's ESPN, the magazine body issue.
Are we not? Do we have to again?
Are we going
Just
there?
stick with the bald eagle part.
Yeah, the ball. Yep. He also, by the way, while we're going down a list of Kelsey quotes, my favorite from yesterday was he was asked about LaShawn McCoy in his edition locker room, which we'll get to that in a minute. But someone asked him, said, "Hey, it sounds like LaShawn McCoy said." I kept scrolling right past it. He said, "LaShawn McCoy said nobody in the Chiefs in the locker room had an ego." And Kelsey's response was, "He said I didn't have an ego." Thanks, man. First time I've heard that one.
If I remember
the
way the question was phrased, I can't remember if it was a question about the broader locker room.
It was.
Travis took that to mean him. So
Yep.
Showing his ego and saying he appreciated not being.
I loved his response to your question, though, Vahe, when somewhat like, what's different about Mahomes this year compared to his last year? And he said, more Oakleys, more Head and Shoulders.
Now more car insurance.
And more cars, right, as of today.
He was, Travis Kelce sometimes can be not stiff behind the podium, but just doesn't want to give a lot. I thought yesterday he really loosened up, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, he was. He was a lot of fun. And you're right. sometimes he just doesn't really seem to want to be there.
Right.
And yesterday he was like,
I think he's always had that kind of personality.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more tempered. I wanted to bring this up too because I thought about it driving in here. Do you remember? We touched on the Chiefs' opening game last year. They won at the LA Chargers. Patrick Mahomes was big, and Tyreek Hill had the punt return and everything. Do you remember Travis Kelce's game at the Chargers?
Yeah, he had a really good game.
No,
we didn't. No, I was thinking the Jacksonville game.
Right. He did the next week at Pittsburgh, but in that opening game, he had one catch, and that kept his streak alive. You remember we were in the in downstairs waiting as the teams go into the locker room. He was the first one off the field, and he was pissed.
Yep.
He was really mad at the game that he had. So when we get to when the rubber meets the road, Travis Kelce is going to be my pick for when the rubber meets the road.
Well, question about that, as I recall, that was his only target, I think, that day, too.
That might have been. That's right.
Let's pull up the stats.
Few. And what I can't remember is what was going on that made us feel like there was a bit of a purpose being made there, right? A bit of a point being made.
Right.
But there was something. Interestingly enough, though, I would say this, for his first few seasons in the league, he was so volatile, prone to,
Oh, yeah. The antics that he used to get flagged.
Yep.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Did he get, I don't think he had a single unsportsmanlike conduct flag last year.
I don't think he did, and certainly not for the last 15 games or 16. I don't think he did at all.
Right.
And there was a period where it was like every other game.
You were always looking for it.
Yeah.
Always.
And I don't think he came close. I think he really cleaned that up.
Do you have a favorite?
A favorite penalty?
I think it was the flag with the official. Did he throw the towel at the official?
Yes.
And I say
the
favorite.
official threw the flag and he threw the towel at the official, mocking him.
Points for creativity and for using your surroundings as props.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. I liked him with the flapping the wings against the Eagles. Eagles fly.
And was it toward his brother?
I don't think you should get flagged for taunting your brother.
I know. I think that should override.
Yeah, it's a familial taunting. It's fine.
Very
it doesn't
personal.
matter.
Very personal.
Exactly.
Targeted.
Looking at the number.
Speaking of targets.
Speaking of targets, Travis Kelce, one reception, targeted 6 times.
6 times. Ooh.
Which means he
not very well targeted.
No, probably maybe had a drop or two. And
I do. You're right. Now that you say that, I had the Travis Kelce stats from Jacksonville burned in my brain, where he had 5 catches for 100
really good
yards.
Game.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if he was just not part of the game plan, if that's what kind of set him off, but he was 3 or 4 minutes ahead of everybody else going to the locker room after that game last year.
He was.
Opener.
And look, you
and when you're done, you're done.
I think generously saying that, not wrongly, but generously saying that he was, maybe mad about how he played. But
it could have been. That could have been. I don't remember if he had drops or.
Might have been the game plan.
But keep in mind, he does have the streak going. He's caught a pass in every game that he's played. I think it's every game he's played.
Olin says Kelce dancing in front of the Raiders punter was their favorite.
There's another 1 or 2 that are floating around on the internet that we probably can't talk about.
But Google them later, maybe with Safe Search on. And Kendall notes from when we were talking about corners that after week 1, contracts aren't guaranteed, and he thinks corner will be addressed then. Which I think is a good point. I think Brett Veach also is aware of that.
Well, we got into the cornerback discussion by bringing up Tremont Smith.
Right.
And look, he's also a backup corner now, and it is more important for him to be with that position group than the running back group for sure.
Yeah, they have some depth there.
Right. And so, Fenton is listed as the 2 there, but I imagine if someone goes down, Tremont Smith would be the person we would see, even though he didn't work there during games. But he did at the beginning of training camp and all of last year.
You know what? Let's talk about why they don't need him in the running back group anymore, because I don't believe we have Facebook Live since LaShawn McCoy signed. We podcasted.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're right.
But you haven't seen our faces talk about Shady signing, which is obviously important.
And the last time you saw our faces, it was dark anyway.
It was. You haven't seen them in a while. The last time we were barreling down whatever highway from Green Bay to Milwaukee. So happy to be stationary at this point, and that it's not after midnight.
But hey, you weren't there, I don't believe. But you.
No, I was trying to watch. I couldn't get it.
It's weird. I never saw
at the
that
Jersey
pop
Shore.
through. There was no
there's
notification. Vahe Gregorian's trying to join your Facebook
Just couldn't
Live.
crack the code.
Yeah, how about that?
That was what night was that? Saturday night?
Thursday night into Friday morning, I believe.
Oh, Thursday. That's right. Thursday into Friday
yeah,
morning.
no, it's definitely Saturday.
Yeah, that was actually not Ocean City. That was Seaside Heights.
Oh,
was it?
I hate when
Was
I
it?
get my
Yeah.
Jersey Shore towns mixed up. That's so difficult for you. Anyway, so LaShawn McCoy signed. He signed Saturday night. Vahe, what were you doing? No, he signed Sunday night. Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Saturday night,
Because
yes.
that's the 11:30 college football coma signing.
Vahe, what were you doing Saturday night when LaShawn McCoy signed?
My
was
friends,
about
my friends in
11:30.
Ocean City were having a party. So I was at that.
Oh, well, that must be nice.
I wasn't in the hot tub, but some people were.
Oh, well, again, must be nice. Blair and I were at our homes. I was in bed, college football combed out, but he signed, huge boost for the Chiefs running back room, a group that I think we all thought was pretty set. I mean, especially they let Carlos Hyde go. Seems like Damian Williams is their guy. They feel good about Darwin Thompson and Darrell Williams, but when an old friend like LaShawn McCoy becomes available and someone who's so close with Andy Reid and Brett Veach, it's hard to let him pass by. And it was interesting talking with McCoy on Monday. He said he just wanted to go home, whether it was to Philadelphia or to Big Red. And so he came home to Big Red. And when we talked with Andy Reid yesterday, he said that he believes LaShawn McCoy will be available in some form or will play in some form. He said, I'll let you guys know when we get closer to it. Or I might not let you know, but I'll know.
That was great. I really appreciated him actually saying that this time. Or I might not let you know.
That's right.
He always says,
Right.
We'll have that for you.
Right.
No, you won't.
No, yeah.
No,
You know the answer, but
never
you're not
have.
going to share with us.
And I just appreciated the candor.
I mean, so Vahe, how much do you think we'll see McCoy on Sunday?
Total X factor, right? We know that Andy likes to tamp down expectations and keeps the poker face up. I would think not a ton, but game situation could call for it. And look, an interesting question would be if they, let's say Damian Williams is all cramped up.
In the weather, right?
Because of the weather, who's going to get, who are you turning to there? I mean,
Probably the 11-year
seasoned guy
veteran.
that isn't really in this system just yet. I mean, but he is. I think you do. I think, and if you feel like
the
he's in good
choice is
shape, and he
him
is.
or the rookie.
Yeah,
who will be playing his first NFL game, who's played 1 year of FBS football, and that was at Utah State, and he was terrific in training. He was the MVP of training camp, as far as I'm concerned, in the preseason. Darwin Thompson. But you're right. If it's crunch time, do you put the ball in his hands? I don't know if you do that.
I don't know if you do. I mean, now
Maybe more Darwin Thompson early, LaShawn McCoy late.
am I remembering this right, Blair?
I think it's a good feel
Kareem
for
Hunt's,
everything.
Kareem Hunt's, that was his first game his rookie year.
It was his first carry. It was
First
the first
carry.
play. It was the first play of the season.
But the decision was made that even though he fumbled that first carry, we're going right back to him, and boom.
That's right. The Patriots scored a touchdown. Chiefs get the ball, and the first play was Hunt carried it again.
So Andy's certainly shown a disposition to trust a rookie in that job.
Right. But keep in mind, on that occasion, the backup running back was Charkandrick West because Spencer Ware had been hurt in the preseason game. That's why Kareem was the starter. And not that they didn't have faith in Charkandrick West, but I think it was important for Andy Reid to establish Kareem Hunt at the time.
Yeah.
I think with with the two veterans that he has in front of Darwin Thompson, it's not going to be as important if they find themselves in a similar situation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially given the past with, I don't know what we know that McCoy knows about the current Andy Reid system, but how different is it?
Right.
I mean,
He said that
than
there
what
were
he's
some
known.
more wrinkles,
Yeah.
is what he said, which, I mean, when you consider how many plays Andy Reid develops and how often he kind of evolves, I think he's right. Yeah, there's probably a lot more variations, but I would have to think that the basics are similar because it's not like Andy Reid reinvents his offense every time he comes up with a new play. You know, there's still some common themes that go through there, and McCoy is with him long enough probably to be able to pick up on it faster because he has that base knowledge.
And I think the themes would also probably just things like the parlance, right? I mean, maybe coaches have to change that up once in a while because of the constant shuffle of personnel. But I think what's internal, you communicate it the same way. Probably you create a language.
What was interesting though is he said a lot of teams use the same buzzwords, but they mean different things, which made me think, and maybe I'm interpreting it a different way than he intended it, but to me I took it as, well, what if Andy says something that triggers one thing, but when he was with the Bills, it triggered another thing? You have to change your brain over to thinking like, okay, well, when you call this play or you use this term, you mean this, Andy, but in Buffalo it meant this, so I need to erase that.
Maybe maybe it's a little bit of a tricky situation for Week 1 just because of the length that McCoy's been with the Chiefs. But I think eventually we'll move into something of a 40-40-20, of a pie graph of Williams and McCoy with Darwin Thompson getting the 20%.
I think that's right.
In terms of snaps or touches. McCoy does have the big advantage of he's a terrific pass catcher, and he has that experience. Darwin Thompson showed us a couple times in the preseason that he can pass protect, but he also missed a couple too, and missed a couple of assignments, just not knowing where the blitz was coming from, and that's something I think LaShawn McCoy will pick up immediately. That will not be an issue for a veteran like McCoy.
So let's assume Damian Williams is fully healthy for the full game. What do you think that means for McCoy in this game? Sparingly, but some
handful of snaps.
Yeah.
Maybe starts the third possession or something,
Right.
and And you just think about how Andy Reid broke it down last year after Kareem Hunt. It was Damian Williams was the starter, the unequivocal starter, but Darrell Williams got carries, got snaps, and was in maybe 80-20, something like that in terms of. Plays, participation. I think it could be somewhere. I bet he gets 60 to 70% of the participation, of the snaps, offensive snaps, Damian Williams.
If Damian, McCoy, and Darwin are all playing Sunday, does that mean Darrell Williams is inactive?
I think so. I think that's right.
So too. Yeah.
And because
he's the one who loses out the most in this.
Right.
Isn't
He does, because Sherman won't be inactive.
Right,
Sherman's going to be active every game, especially if Deion Yelder's still a little with the ankle, not 100%. Sherman, provides a little bit of. Remember, Sherman caught a touchdown pass in the opener last year, the wheel route.
Yep.
So, that's the other thing that Travis Kelce said the other day. He said Blake Bell. He thinks Blake Bell's going to have. He just kind of dropped that in there.
That was the bigger giveaway than anything else. You should see the plan we have for him. He didn't say it quite like that, but it was close.
Yeah.
And I just remember kind of perking up, saying, "Really? That'd be interesting."
I wonder if Travis came out there like, whoa, easy there.
Like, guy, we've got a secret weapon, and you're exposing more than Chase Litton is in that quarterback room. By the way, Andrew Ross asked, do you believe Tremont Smith will be cut after Week 1 once Dat is eligible to return?
I don't know if I see it that way because we see him now as at least for the moment, for a few more weeks anyway, as corner depth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's right. That changes the depth at corner changes that. I think it changes that possibility. If he had stayed at running back, I think it'd have been easy to make that. So who might get cut? I don't know. I don't know what the roster move would be, but I think they want to get Dat back, obviously, and for special teams. Tremont Smith takes some of Dat's special teams responsibilities, so Dat will get those back. But as long as if they sign a corner, I think that affects Tremont Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But with anything less than that, I think Tremont Smith has to be on this roster.
I feel like that too. But it is an interesting question. The corresponding
It is.
news.
Right.
Right. It is. It's a very good question.
The 53rd person on the roster right now.
Boy, that's a good question. Is it
a wide receiver? I mean, it could, because I thought that.
They only kept 6.
Right, exactly. I think if they had kept
Thompson,
then he'd be the easy switch out.
And we thought maybe they were just going to keep 2 tight ends, but Yelder's on the team. He's on the 53.
Right, and he was practicing yesterday.
And he's on the 53.
Right.
Look, is it Darrell Williams? Do you keep?
I was kind of wondering, do you put him on the practice squad? But I think that he would get scooped up.
I think he would too. I don't know. It's a good question. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll find out next week. You know what, Blair? You referenced where the rubber meets the road earlier.
I did.
I think it may be
teased it.
You teased it. You did tease it. And so this week, our rubber meets the road, brought to you by Big O Tires, is who needs to have a big game for the Chiefs to be successful in Jacksonville?
I'm going to with my tease. I had Travis Kelce. I think because Tyreek Hill, I think will have his moments, but I just think he'll Ramsey will do a good job, especially on his home turf. The Jacksonville defensive line is terrific. I think the Chiefs are going to have a little difficulty running the ball. So give me Travis Kelce. He had numbers against the Jaguars last year. I just think that's a place where I would have gone either Kelce or Sammy Watkins, actually, as the number 2 receiver with the ability to have some nice numbers.
I'm figuring that I'm going to default the Chiefs' offense to 24 to 28 points just to begin with. So I figure this is a little bit on the defense, and so I think Frank Clark's the guy who needs to have the game. The one that says his little reference to the repertoire he's about to break out. I think we want to see the difference maker that he is, and I think that's going to be, even as we wait for the defense to gel and all come together, I think you can at least see kind of individual catalysts have their moments, and I think he needs to be that for this defense.
I'm going to stick with the defense. I'm going to go Tyrann Mathieu because he's the guy that we've seen the least out of, the least of the key members of this team. I think that we need to see how he communicates, how he manages all those defensive backs, how he communicates the linebackers, making sure everyone's lined up where they need to be. That's what I'm most interested to see. And I think that he will be a difference maker, but I'd like to see him have that immediate impact on Sunday for this to be a successful game, because I think the Chiefs will win, and we can get to predictions in a minute. But I think for them to win and feel good about it, you need to see guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Frank Clark working together to communicate with the rest of the defense. And whoever they have starting in the linebacking core, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, because when we talked to Brett Veach in the conference call on Sunday, he mentioned, guys playing a lot, Hitch, Darren Lee, Damian Wilson. Reggie Ragland's name wasn't in that. And then he kind of said, and then Reggie sometimes. And
remember, he was on the field in Green Bay.
He was. He played quite a few series.
Played with the reserves in Green Bay.
I think that because they had Reggie at middle linebacker, I believe, and they had Hitchens at weak and Wilson at strong. I think that's going to be shuffled, and that Lee's going to end up playing more than Ragland because he's a better fit in that defense. So I think that's going to be another thing to watch. So I kind of just butchered my rubber meets the road segment and gave you many people.
You extended it.
I did.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you guys want to get to some score predictions before we go to Jack to ask some in-studio questions?
Sure. You want to go Jack first, or you want to go? Whatever you want to do, Brooke.
Let's do some score predictions so we can get some questions together.
Okay.
Over there. Which one of you guys wants to go first?
I'll go first. The Chiefs didn't score less than 26 points in a game last year, and we established that this was the only opponent against which Mahomes did not throw a touchdown pass. I say he throws multiple touchdown passes, but the Chiefs don't get the 26. They win 24-21.
I just typed down my score and it was like double yours. Blair,
I think Jacksonville's defense is good enough, and I think the conditions will be such that it's going to be difficult for it to be a high-scoring game. And in first games, typically, not always. Hell, it was 38-28 last year for the against Chargers. First games are typically low-scoring.
I'm going to go with 31-21. They get that in my game. the touchdown that's called back in your game for the Chiefs actually is
And
not
there
called back. I just think Patrick is so established and so motivated, so attuned to what's going to happen in this offense. It's another year of the incredible energy between Patrick and Andy. I just think they've got some stuff in store I think they'll get out to a little lead. I think maybe 14-0, and I think it'll play out from there.
So full disclosure, when I first typed my score, I typed 45-42.
Wow.
I just was really excited about the offense.
You're still thinking about that Oklahoma-Texas Tech
I
game.
really
That's
am.
right.
And there were plenty of high-scoring games like that last year. So I was giving the Chiefs all the points that they were getting last year, and I was factoring in the defense still gelling, and so but then I changed it.
Why don't you stick with it?
You absolutely could be right.
But
It's a lot of points, though. That's a lot of points.
Could be right,
So
but
I revised it because that's what you get to do when you host this and you go last. But at least I told you guys that I revised it. My new score prediction still high. I'm going 38-30, Chiefs.
all right.
So I feel okay about it.
There are
better
so
about
many.
it.
I'll tell you. You look at what the Chiefs just last year with the Chiefs, 12-4, won the division, got to the AFC title game. How many of those games were final possession type games? More than half of them. It was The NFL was just ridiculous in terms of its competitiveness and creating a league and a system where games come down to final possessions. And all the games the Chiefs lost, were like that. And so many of their victories, Jacksonville wasn't one of them. They took the lead and held it. But this offense is going to be better than it was last year. I think they're going to have a little bit of trouble against this Jacksonville defense and in the heat. But I just think it is going to be close. Another final possession type of game. Yeah. My 2 cents. My additional, my postscript on that.
I like it.
That was totally unnecessary.
But thank you for sharing, Blair. We're all better for having that background.
PSS.
I always wonder about that. Should it be PPS or PSS?
Yeah, I don't know. I just after you get to PS, it's not postscript or postscript
Why
script.
don't you just put it in the body of your email at that point, or letter, or whatever,
Right.
or type it? I don't know. I guess you would have to add those to a typed out letter because you couldn't
Do you know about those?
I do. I have heard of a typerator.
By the way, can you write in cursive?
Yeah, I can write in cursive. It's not
curious.
legible, but
Do you know what a stamp is?
yes, guys, I'm not that young. I'm old. I wore no makeup today. You can see how haggard I am. I'm ancient. You're welcome, everyone. Let's go to Jack to ask some questions. We got
What
one
do you got,
question.
Jack?
What's your record prediction?
Oh, okay, it's good.
Oh, let's just pull up Sam so I can work off
Yeah,
of that.
Sam did his game by game, right? Yep.
And he went with 13-3.
Yep. Sam was 13-3, and I get the logic there. You think this is a better team than a year ago, in which they finished 12-4. So yeah, why not one game better? 13-3. Here's a little stat for you though. 11 times in Chiefs history, they have won 11 or more games. So 11, 12, or 13. 13 is the most they've ever won in the season. 11 times in their history, they've won 11, 12, or 13. Only once did they improve on that record the next year, victory total. It was under Andy Reid. They went 11-5, I think, in 16, and then 12-4 in 17, or it may be 15 and 16. But that's the only time. So whenever they've gone 13-3, 12-4, 11-5, and all those other occasions, they did not improve or match that victory total the next year. That which speaks to me, unless you're the Patriots under Belichick, how difficult it is to put together consecutive 12-4, 13-3, even 11-5 seasons. So, having said all that, 12-4. I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
That was a lot of preamble to say, but I don't believe these things.
Free postscript. It's a
PR, PO script. What do you got?
All that makes a lot of sense to me, and it really is going to be an interesting measure, and also interesting measure of what that means in the postseason, right? I mean, we're assuming postseason, and you never know. But one of the things I think we'll find ourselves tracking all season, especially if they do well, is how this relates a little bit or not to the Royals of 2014 and 2015.
Right.
How they took that just heartbreaking Game 7 final inning loss and were energized by it almost and got better from it. I don't remember the final regular season record in 15, but they were almost
95.
wire to wire.
Yeah, they 95 wins.
95 wins.
After 89 the previous year.
Yeah. So I think in some measure we'll know that within a month. I really do. I don't know if you will really know, but I think there's a potential for them to lose something early that we don't expect.
I think I did a
But you
game by
remember those
game.
Royals started fast
They
in
did.
15.
They
So
did.
out of the gate, they kind of proved they backed up what they said.
Yeah,
in
it was
spring
almost
training.
really was almost wire to wire. I don't remember for
Right,
sure.
they had a losing September was their only losing month.
Right.
Because they dominated the division.
Yeah.
You know what? I seem to recall, and now I can't remember when I did it or why I did it because I don't know why I was doing season predictions before training camp, but I seem to remember predicting that the Chiefs would lose to the Raiders in week 2?
Yeah.
Which at the time felt kind of
Before-
ridiculous.
Before Hard Knocks came up.
Felt more realistic until you saw the true dysfunction of that team in Hard Knocks. And who knows what helmet Antonio Brown will have by then or how much money he will have lost being fined. But I think there could be a surprise loss like that early that because the defense hasn't gelled yet.
And one of the points Blair was also referring to, the 13-3 year, only 13-3 year, correct? It was a first-round playoff loss.
Yes.
So you certainly you think the regular season record has something to do with what you're capable of in the postseason, but that's not exactly always the case,
Especially with the Chiefs.
especially with the Chiefs.
They've actually been 13-3 like 3 times.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I thought it was only
I was
one.
trying to
Okay,
think
my
if
bad.
they had been one under Andy, but I think 12-4 is the best they've twice under Andy Reid. They were 13-3 3 times, twice under Marty Schottenheimer, and I think once with Dick Vermeil. And a couple of those were followed by either 9-7 or 7-9, and then maybe a 10-6. But that's just how difficult. I mean, so many things can happen. One injury, a couple, it's just so difficult to project what a team would be coming off of a great season. Except again, if you're the Belichick Patriots, and maybe this is the beginning of something like that for the Chiefs, an era where and look, Andy Reid's had double-digit victory seasons in 5 of his 6 years, and he was 9-7 and missed the playoffs in his second year. So they've been as consistent as anybody in the NFL, but now they need to get to a point where you think of them always as a 10-6, 11-5, 12-4 type of team, and with this quarterback, you can start to think that. I think you can begin to think that way.
I think so too. But Vahe, did you give a number for your?
12.5 and 3.5.
Oh, weird. That's what mine is.
So I guess that means 12-3-1.
Which could happen.
Could happen.
Sure, could happen.
Okay, well, that's I
There you
think
go,
the first
12-3
time
and
anyone's
one.
ever
If they
actually
finish
predicted a
12-3-1
tie.
this year, we're going to come back to this.
Yeah.
This moment.
Bookmark and
Most likely
archive
we'll
this.
be flushing it because it won't be anything like that. But
Yeah.
I like that though. That's bold.
That is-
12-3-1
that is
pretty
bold.
Hey, speaking of bold, I do want to toot my horn on this. We had lunch out the other day, and what did I eat?
What did you eat?
He had the fluffer nutter with bacon.
And carrots on the side
Yes.
at the brick.
What a bold move that was.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of food, Mitchell Schwartz made great barbecue
I'm glad
yesterday.
you brought that up. You talk about rubber meat in the road.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad you brought this up.
You know what? It was so nice. We got in there, we're told, hey, Mitch Schwartz made lunch for you guys. And then he popped in right before Patrick Mahomes came in there and just said, hey, I made this as a thank you to you guys. Thanks for all you do. By the way, if it's not good, there's buns and sauce. It was amazing. I mean, it was so
Buns and
good.
sauce were a nice gesture, not needed.
Not needed. He had
go
ribs, brisket, and pulled pork. And it was, I mean, as good as advertised.
It was tremendous. And I remember my wife asking me, like, what were the sides? I'm like, sides?
Why would we
None
waste our
necessary.
calories eating sides?
You're a pup. You say you're old. You're not. Vahe and I are fossils. That's never happened in the history of, my.
Probably any franchise at any level has a player done that.
Well, I think that's just how special Mitch Schwartz is. He's a really good guy. I know we all really appreciate talking with him once, maybe 1-2 times a week. he really answers our question. He gets in depth.
Thoughtful.
He's
Really
very
thoughtful.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
He takes his time. So thank you, Mitch, for cooking for us, and also for just being a great human and a good person to talk to, a good locker room guy.
And thank you in advance for giving us a really good interview today on this topic, so it can be a quick column.
Yeah, we also appreciate that, Manly Vahe. My season prediction is also 12-4. I'm
Boy,
not predicting a tie.
Wildly divergent here. We range from 12-4 to
And now they'll go
12-3-1.
4-12 now that we've
right.
all called this. So on that note, I think we all need to sign off because we've got to get to availability. We've got coordinators today, open locker room. Yesterday was a packed house hearing from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
And Travis Kelce.
Not sure who else they'll bring to the podium after Eric Bieniemy and Steve Spagnuolo. I almost said Bob Sutton.
And Dave Tope.
And Dave Tope. Can't forget Dave Tope. So we're excited. We will be back with you guys from Jacksonville after our first of the season post real game Facebook Live. So we'll see you guys then, and thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Thanks, Beth. Hey, it's Blair. Hey, we have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners. Unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns we have to offer. And it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. For your convenience, your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. A lot of subscription services won't tell you that. They'll just sneak it on there. We just told you. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.